Hey, it's Thursday the 12th of May. Thanks for joining me. Haven't recorded any videos since Sunday. Sunday I talked about how crypto was expected to crash. We had a sell signal. We'd broken some important support levels and I was looking for crypto to crash again. Well, in just, 4 or 5 days, the market has dumped 30%. So the crash, well, I would consider 30% decent terminology as a crash. It's a nightmare for the crypto bulls, but hopefully if you watched my video and you've been reading my analysis, I've either saved you a fortune or made you a fortune. Have a look for the crypto video if you're interested. It looks like crypto will continue to go down. I've been right about this for as long as I can remember. I actually picked the exact high in crypto, if you remember. It's all documented in my YouTube videos. So if I continue to be right, then crypto's got a lot further down to go. Now, stock markets are only beginning the move to the downside, in my opinion. I did think that stock markets could stabilize midweek, and probably they would have done if that inflation number had come out a little bit better than it did. Well, I mean, that's obvious, of course, but we were at some very important support levels. However, with that negative inflation number, we've broken through the big support levels that really needed to hold for this not to turn into some sort of catastrophic move to the downside, possibly even a crash, something that could resemble what has already happened in crypto. I'm really talking about something very serious now in stock markets. I've been talking about this for quite a long time. I've been very surprised at the orderly decline. I know it doesn't seem orderly to you, especially if you've only been trading for a few years. If you've only been trading since, for 10 years or something, you're not used to this. But I've been doing this since 1987. So I know what stock market crashes look like. I've seen so many of them. I've traded so many of them. And this, to me, was actually quite orderly. It probably seemed crazy if you're used to this. This seemed pretty bonkers with volatility. But believe me, you haven't seen anything yet. If you think you've seen the most volatile conditions, forget about it. You're going to see moves now where you're down 10, 15% in a day, you rally up 6, 7, 8%, maybe 10%, and then you dump again. You're going to start seeing double-digit moves if I'm right. If you want to know what to expect, go to your chart, have a look at what happened in 2007, 2008, 2009. I was trading that. I predicted that crash because there was a huge head and shoulders pattern. And actually, I've done a video on that. I'll have to dig it out for you, but it's on YouTube about how to predict a crash, what patterns to look for, and this is exactly what's happening now. So I'm going on a bit, but it's such an important time. We have broken this trend line here, the 500-day moving average. There was an important fib level down there as well. Let me try and get that on the weekly chart. We've broken the 100-week moving average all around the 4,000 area. We had a 50% fib around there too. We've even broken this trend line, which goes all the way back to the 2018, beginning of 2018, January. So let me scrunch that chart up a little bit. There we go. So anything that could possibly have stopped us crashing has now been broken. And I just can't see anything that will save the stock markets. We're going to go down significantly. The first stop is 3850, 3800. That is a very big fib level, but because there's nothing else there, and because we've already broken some support levels, I've got very little hope of this holding. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the economy will be saved, but we start breaking below 3750 and all hell's going to break loose. We're going to go straight to 3550, 3500. That will be then the best chance for bulls to pull themselves together and maybe engineer a bounce. That will only take us around the mid-year high of 2020. So you're not talking about that far back. Even that would only be 3,500 would be, I don't know, whatever, 30% move to the downside. Is that right? Something like that off the top of my head. Anyway, that would only be a 30% correction, I think, if my maths is correct. And on the grand scale of things, when things got so ridiculously overbought with all the QE and money sloshing around the system, a 30% collapse really is nothing. It really is a very small correction. Now, if things get really nasty, we can get to 2,800 to 2,700. I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. Then you're talking about a 50% collapse or 50% retracement of the big move up from, where have I got my fibs? From that 2009 low at 666. So if we get to the 2800, 2700 area, which I really think is a strong possibility. I'm not going to say it's likely. What is likely is that we get to 3850, 3800, and we could even get to, as I say, 3600, 3500. Anyway, look, we'll worry about that if we get there, but it is looking pretty nasty for stock markets. What can save us? We're going to have to get back above 40,500. Sorry, 40,050. And then I can talk about a false break on the weekly chart, but we'd really have to do that by tomorrow night. It's not going to happen, is it? Okay, Nasdaq's been going down significantly for a long time. Poor old Kathy Wood. Her fund is her ARK fund down 75%. She should be following me. I've been talking about stocks falling for such a long time. Nasdaq broke here. That was my real sell signal, breaking 12,700, and we're all, we're 800 points down from there. We're not even getting oversold on the weekly chart yet. We were oversold on the daily chart, but that doesn't mean anything. There is nothing that is telling me that the Nasdaq is going to bounce. There is everything that is telling me the Nasdaq is going to accelerate to the downside. I could argue that this is some sort of weird lopsided head and shoulders pattern. I could certainly argue that the Dow Jones has, the Emini S&P has a much more pronounced head and shoulders pattern. That to me looks like a head and shoulders pattern with a neckline around the 500-day moving average, out of the 100-week moving average. Now, Dow Jones has been holding up quite well compared to the other two markets. Obviously, the Nasdaq's been hit the hardest, but this is also broken down. Pattern-wise, I'm not 100% sure what I can call that. But look, we had the moving average crossover here when the 100-day moving average crossed below the 200. We revisited that area and then collapsed. 50-day moving average doing a good job of support and resistance. 500-day moving average has now been broken. This is really, really important. Really important. Look at this. Now, on the weekly chart for the Dow Jones. Let me just try and get this all in the right perspective. Okay, there we go. Now, we're talking about a crash low here from 2020. That was when COVID hit and the market dumped significantly. Now, we've held up quite well in the Dow Jones, but this I could certainly argue this is a very, very large head and shoulders pattern. We've broken the 38.2%, 23.6% fib at 32,400. We've broken the 100-week moving average at 32,300, and we've now broken what is possibly the neckline to a head and shoulders pattern at 31,900. This is big. This is really, really big. We are looking at 30,000 to 29,000, possibly quite quickly. We break below 29,000, and then we've got further very, very significant moves to the downside. I don't even want to think about it. But the first stop for me is 30,000, 29,000. I think we're going to get there quite quickly. We're only 1,500 points away. It's not that big a deal at the moment. It's what, a 5% drop? I mean, that's nothing. As I said, things are going to get volatile. Okay, I've said enough. You know what I'm thinking. This isn't good. I'm rarely wrong. You know that if you follow me. I've been talking about moves to the downside. And now that we've broken this support level, it's going to accelerate. That's it. Please give me your comments, your suggestions, and anything else that you want to know from me. Any help that I can give you, put them in the comments box. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please keep your eye on these videos because I'm going to keep updating you with stock markets and with crypto. Forex markets are relatively quiet. They're not quite as exciting, but I will do something on Forex before the end of the week.